Welcome back, guys and gals, to another episode of the Bitcoin 15. I am your host, Peter Beckstrand. Alongside of me, as always, my co-host, Peter Christensen. In this week's episode, we cover a couple big ones here. Goldman and Fidelity both file for Bitcoin ETFs, banning crypto or banning Bitcoin in Turkey, but yet there's still a rise there. We're about to go into Morocco, close enough. We're about to go on another bull run, ladies and gentlemen. And Ray Dalio and his downside to Bitcoin. But we start this week in South Korea. Gonzo, what do you got for us here in South Korea?
Well, their central bank, they're going to throw their hat into the ring with some CBDC action. As calling back to last week, we really focused on those central bank digital currencies, and South Korea looks like they're going to get into the game. There's, as we predict on this show earlier, more and more countries, central banks are going to keep on doing this, and their central bank is banking, no pun intended, that the masses will flock to these digital currencies issued by central banks rather than cryptocurrencies. We disagree here on this show, and as do most of the Bitcoiners out in the world. As we've said many times before, digital fiat is still fiat. What say you, Beckstrand?
I was going to say the 15ers out there, all 15 of them believe us and probably are cheering us in the background like, you go Glen Coco. It's funny that South Korea is going to do this, because I always see South Korea as kind of just being, from a technological standpoint, like just ahead of the curve. And so I'm seeing this kind of be a little bit reactive and more in line with some other powerhouse governments that are maybe in their area. I think you alluded to in our pre-call, just chat quick, but 2% they're thinking will pull away from the current crypto users. Roughly 2% of people will adopt this new form of currency. But like I said, I can see this being more for people who think it's an even swap out, and maybe for an older generation or people who haven't studied up on cryptocurrencies or primarily Bitcoin, and saying, hey, it's the same thing. I'll just do what the government says or what my bank says to do. So it's too bad to see. I was thinking South Korea was going to not be as much like North Korea, but maybe North Korea is actually the big Bitcoiners, and we just don't know that yet. That's kind of my thoughts.
Kim Jong-un running the long con here.
What if? What if?
he takes a
Rocket
hard
Man.
right turn. He's like, yeah, Rocket Man is no longer they're just like, oh, you think I'm the most oppressive regime in the world? Boom. I get power to the people. We're a Bitcoin country. And suddenly it's no longer everyone flocking to Miami. It's everyone's going to Pyongyang. How about that?
President Trump said they have beautiful real estate there. And they just go pure nuclear on the bid, and they're just using all that nuclear power for just mining operations. I mean,
yeah, let's
make it happen.
Hey, it's like straight out of the Bible, right? When the swords turned into plowshares, the ICBMs are turned into Bitcoin mining rigs. Okay, you heard it here first. We've now ventured into pure science fiction on this show. All right, so let's get away from that story. We've talked about CBDCs enough. Yeah, so we don't totally understand the metric, but for those of you who think you're too late to this bull run, you missed the boat, the ship has sailed. Not true. The experts out there, they're using a risk reward ratio, and they showed some number. I tried to understand it for you 15ers out there to explain it. I'm sorry, I can't do it. You have to do your own research. That being said, compared with past bull runs, we're not anywhere close to the end, just as we predicted, according to the usual timeline where you are in the halving cycle with the number of blocks mined. We're nowhere close to the end of this bull run. So my bold prediction of 100,000 by the end of the year, still very much in play. Stock to flow, still very much in play. Beckstrand, do you have any reason to think, can you present one single metric to prove why we are near the end of this bull run? Because I can't.
The only thing I can think of is well, it's so, there's no stats, but just we're up 21% this year already. Or no, not this year. 30 days ago, we're up 21% as a like from the last month.
I say we're up
Where
more
we're
than,
at, yeah,
way more
we're
than
more
that
than
for the year.
more than that. I'm just saying the last 30 days we're up 21%. And it feels like for people who check it daily, even though we shouldn't check it daily, it's kind of flatlined. And I know I said 60 or 61 by the end of Q1 here. I'm still holding that out. I have a calendar reminder for myself to check on the 31st to see where we're at. What I was going to say is there has been some reports of people moving some really large coinage off of some platforms and maybe going to private storage, and there's not been as much Bitcoin out there on the exchanges like that. But that's also a good thing, right? Of people getting it, holding it. So
that's the sign that everyone that's holding now has no intention of selling anytime soon because they know where it's going.
Yeah, so that's that'll only help increase the value. And then with the halving cycle being complete throughout at some point this year, getting to $100,000. I mean, it's just crazy to think that we'll get there. It feels like we're stuck at a spot right now, and it's only been like a week or 2 weeks. We've been at this 50, and before that we weren't. We were in the 40s. And before that we were in the 20s. So very short-sighted here on the Bitcoin 15. I don't have any numbers for you to say that we're going backwards, because I did say the floor would be 48, and I know we text and talk more than people recognize, and we said that, hey, this will be a good test to see where we're at if this floor keeps going down. And it went at like what, 51.
It barely dipped. It didn't even go below 50. So
yeah,
maybe the new floor is 50. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, reason for optimism out there, especially for anyone who wants to get in and thought they're too late. You're not too late. This is a show for entertainment purposes only, not investment advice. Let's move on. So
you go to Turkey?
Yeah, let's go to Turkey. Tell us what happened in Turkey.
Well, as their currency, the lira, plummets, the search engine, or the search, was it Google or just their search engine optimization?
They're probably up on Bing too, guys like you in Turkey.
They're probably DuckDuckGo. That's my new one. It's not as good. It takes you a while to get through some stuff, but at least they don't track you. They're probably using Bing, and it's up 400%. The Bitcoin, the searching for another way to hold on to your money, or maybe diverse your money into other assets that retain value. It's up 400%. So that's telling me that they're like some of the other South American countries that we discussed on previous episodes. They're like some of the African nations that we discussed on previous episodes. They're seeing their local currency dip, and they're thinking, where else can I put my money where it's not going to continuously lose value?
Yep. I don't really need to add anything to that. Like you said, we've seen it before. We'll keep on seeing it. As fiats fail, people will look for something hard they can trust in. For us, we think that's Bitcoin. Okay, so kind of a bunch of stories grouped in here together. We think kind of the story of the week is Ray Dalio, as Bechtran said in the intro. He is one of the bright minds in investing in the world. If you haven't heard of him, you can look him up. He's the founder of Bridgewater Associates. It's the largest hedge fund in the world. Very smart guy, understands a lot of macroeconomic issues. He talks about debt cycles happening in the economy, the global economy now. It's not just the US economy anymore, it's a global economy. And he had been kind of quiet on Bitcoin for quite a while, and people are always wondering, where is he going to fall? Is he going to join Warren Buffett and the Peter Schiffs of the world that say Bitcoin is no good, or is he going to come out like more and more people are now realizing that Bitcoin is the wave of the future? Ray Dalio, unfortunately, has come out on the side of, well, I don't know if it's fair to say he's anti-Bitcoin, but what he thinks is he doesn't want to put his trust in Bitcoin because he thinks as it becomes more successful, the more likely it's going to be banned by governments. So that's a fear for investors like you and me, that should we put trust in something, our money into something, if the government's just going to go and ban it? Mm-hmm. So but you and I have talked about this. We don't think that should be that's what's really going to happen. And why do we think that, I guess?
Well, just because you have so many heavy players in the financial industry, or the way we use finances today is transfer money from peer to peer, peer to business with Visa and PayPal and MasterCard and Goldman Sachs and Fidelity issuing ETFs coming out I think that statement was earlier this week. So Elon Musk, Saylor, Jack Dorsey, I mean, all these heavy hitters in the industry, corporate America, and America is the land of free, but it's also the land of large corporations. And when you have that many individuals pulling this much weight, I just don't see, with all that money, with all the lobbyists that they might be swinging, I just don't see how the government could outright ban it.
Well, and as you mentioned there briefly, the Fidelity and Goldman Sachs both issuing ETFs. You can't just issue an ETF out of nowhere. You have to be approved by the SEC, and the IRS. That's the U.S. government. And if the government was planning on banning it, why would they allow them to issue these ETFs?
Yeah, ETFs are not
that's our
NFTs.
point there.
Yeah.
We'll talk about NFTs on an episode in the future. Maybe we've been avoiding that topic, but do not buy NFTs instead of Bitcoin. That's the quickly thing. And just a quick point here: Morocco. It's not the U.S. It's a much smaller country, but about 3.5 years ago they banned Bitcoin, and since then trading of Bitcoin is up over 200% and other cryptocurrencies. So it's bring on the ban. If the U.S. with self-custody, Ray Dalio's big point is, hey, back during the Great Depression, people flocked to gold as a hard asset, and the government said, we're just going to take your gold. And the government also will seize your real estate sometimes too, because that's another tangible asset people flock to sometimes as well. And the government with eminent domain can take your real estate from you, and sometimes in very unjust ways. They won't pay you what it's actually worth. And when they seized everyone's gold, they paid people dollars for the gold, but not a fair market value for their gold.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they said, here, you have to sell it to us for, I don't remember the numbers, but pretend it was $100 an ounce. And then they immediately said the new price for gold is like $200 an ounce. They just did the old switcheroo, because that's what governments do. But this is why we all need to educate ourselves on self-custody. So if the government does come for it, they might be able to coerce the Coinbases of the world to give everyone, make you cash out your Bitcoin for fiat.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the power of the decentralized network. And if you use cold storage, self-custody, good luck for them getting that from you.
Yeah.
So that's why we all got to educate ourselves on that. So Ray Dalio, we wish you were on our side. We wish you weren't participating in this fear about government bans, but he's a smart guy. He has his reasons for why he said that. So it's something we got to consider. And if you're on the fence on Bitcoin, you should listen to Ray Dalio. You should educate yourself on what he's saying, and of course, educate yourself on people that aren't fearful of that ban as well.
Yeah. It's beautifully said, and maybe under 15 for the first time ever.
Should we wrap and actually hit the number for once?
Should we hit? All
right.
We're at 14 on my watch. So
smash the like button.
Smash the like. Tell people, everybody we're at 60 by the 31st. You heard it.
Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell notifications. Comments. Tell us why we're wrong. Why this isn't the same as gold.
Yep. Tell us your predictions.
Or why Ray Dalio's wrong.
Yeah. Warren Buffett, Peter Schiff, all the people out there who are wrong. Our parents, no, my parents are, I don't think my parents even know what Bitcoin is. We'll see if they're watching. All right. That's all I got to say.
Hey, Tim and Lisa.
Good night, Canada.
All right.
See ya.
See you next time.
Yep. Bye.